Screen Line Breakdown, Episode 8, Week 9, whatever it is. We're back. We're back. Sound the alarms. Get the green light going. We're back. How you guys doing today? Green Line Breakdown, Episode 8. We're back. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. The Boston Celtics are back. We are back. No way around it. We have found a groove. We have found a rhythm. That's what's important. Let's get right into it. Like I said, happy holidays. We're in December. Season's greetings. Looking real cheery outside right now. Last time I left you off, we had a deep discussion on Celtics. Had a little bit of motion going on, but didn't really have an identity. Didn't really have something to hang our hat on, to unify this team, to coalesce into becoming a good, solid basketball team. We were sitting around, I think it was the 9 seed at the time, 7-9, somewhere around there. What a week. What a week we had in front of us, an opportunity we had in front of us, and I would say wholeheartedly, confidently, we took advantage of that opportunity. We took advantage. So, where do we start? Cleveland Cavaliers, Sunday night, kind of a good warm-up to what the week was going to be, and we had a game. We had a bit of a scrap with Cleveland. I always like playing Cleveland. Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. I like those guys. I like every one of the players on that team. I like how they play the game. I think they're a very clean basketball team. I think they are a very fan-centric basketball team. I always feel for the people of Cleveland. They are never in a good situation, but you know what they do? They still show up for their team. I appreciate Cleveland for what they are, and I always like seeing them. I think they're always a good test. I think they play us very well always. I think we usually bring a fight to them, and they came to play. They came to play for sure. They came to play. Let me read some of the stat lines for you. Pritchard had 42 points in this game. The entire team shot 50% from the field, 49.4. A very well-played game. The score was very tight in the end, and I think we were up by 8 or 10 in the fourth, and we started getting chipped away there, but I think what was important was we made the right plays when it mattered. We didn't lose at the very end, which is always the most important thing, but we never really let it get away from us. I never felt that way. Pritchard scored 42 to drive this team to that win. Everybody, I think, played considerable on the offensive and defensive side. I can pick apart this game, but really the important thing is we got away with the win. And like I said, for a team that always shows up against us in Cleveland, you're playing in Cleveland and you're on a back-to-back with a bad loss the night before. It's something to give this team credit for. You have a lot of games coming up, and really the important thing is to get wins out of these games, just the way you are in the standings. You know, between you're a playing team at the time of this game, and you want to knock some wins on. This is a good week to do it. You know, and you get away with a win. Everybody played, like I said, decent. I don't think I can stand here and say, God, if he was just doing this, it wouldn't have been as close. And I don't believe that. I think Cleveland always plays us well. I think they're good teams. I'm very, very happy with squeaking out that win the way we did it. If they didn't, I would be upset and really picking them apart. But like I said, the important thing in a 4-game week is you're getting the wins. And you got the win. So, Tuesday night, you're playing the New York Knicks. I got to go to this game. Free t-shirt night. Shout out. Brought to you by Abu Dhabi. Some interesting t-shirts they were giving out there. This was, I think, the energizing game that's going to encompass the season. I think if we are on a high trajectory from here on out, they're going to look at the New York Knicks game. We played across the board a great game of basketball. Obviously, we went down very quickly in the start of that game. I think we were down by 15. I was like 5 to 20-ish. Which was always disheartening, and I was sitting in the rafters at that point and looking around, and it didn't seem like anybody was giving up. It seemed like it was so early on, and if I wasn't at this game, part of me would go, okay, I think we're going to lose, and I would look away, because there isn't a confidence yet, as this game was being played, of anything you've seen this season to point at and go, they can easily reduce this disparity and make a comeback. I don't think they had that. I don't think they've had a game like that to point to that, but this was that instance. It's 20-5. and you chip away and you chip away. And before you know it, before the first quarter is even out, you're cutting it down to 5 points away or whatever it may have been. That is what you needed to see out of this team, to not just throw in the towel as soon as you get whacked in the first quarter, because you have so much time left. That's a whole game. They went up really quickly. They shot perfect. The New York Knicks, they're a very good team. I hate to say it. I hate New York. New York's a bum, but they are a good team. There are some good players on this team. I like Brunson. Brunson didn't have a very good game. I don't think he was hitting his shots as well. Part of that is because of the defense we were playing on him, but he was not having a good game at all. But there were other guys who were having a good game. Mikal Bridges didn't seem like he could miss a shot. He was automatic, and it was kind of pissing me off. I mean, he just lets that thing fly. His shot's kind of gross, and it just goes in anyway. It's not like they just didn't show up. New York was showing up. You just showed up in a higher capacity. The energy was there. You didn't let your minds fall off quickly in the first quarter. You kind of forgot about that right away and just kept chipping away at them. Everybody, and I was in attendance for this game. Everybody had a play across the board. Everywhere from Jaylen Brown, Pritchard, Simons, Minot, Cada. Now I'm just naming the roster, but Jordan Walsh, especially towards the end, and I want to get in talking about him a little bit, but they all played a hell of a game and didn't give up early. And that was the best thing to see. And going back to the beginning of this episode, 5 minutes ago, my biggest complaint last week is there was no identity. I think after this New York game, the identity is there, and they've kind of felt a little bit of they're a team with a chip on their shoulder. There's a lot of youth to this team, a lot of youth. I mean, Jaylen Brown's one of the older guys. Jalen's 30. No Al Horford anymore. Derek White's 29, 28, maybe older, maybe 31. I don't even know. But those are the two older guys on the team. Pritchard's only a few years in the league. Simons is only a few years in the league. Minot is only a few years in the league. You do not have a lot of age on this team. There is a lot of youth. And I think that youth, some of these guys who've been hanging around the G League, Jordan Walsh, Shireman, they've finally felt that they can play in this league. I think they need a little of animosity towards the rest of the players. You can't just show up on the court and play basketball when you get to this level. You got to have a reason to be, whether it's pissed off or jealous of somebody or whatever it may be, that kind of lights a fire under your ass and gets you in this game. And Jordan Walsh, for sure, has hit that point. Shireman, I think, is hitting that point. I think I'm starting to see him become a little more involved and a little more available for opportunistic plays. That's the way I'm going to put it. But like I said, across the board, every single person in this game had either a game-changing play or something that you could point to and go, we're winning this game because of that. They all had it. I mean, Jaylen Brown, 42 points. Pritchard had 42 to carry the team in the end, right? Jaylen was more of like a piston or an engine that kept everybody going the entire time. I mean, from the first quarter to the last, he was involved. 16 of 24 shooting. He was unstoppable driving into the paint. I mean, like I said, it was confidence this entire game. There was a confidence of him watching him dribble up to the top of the key and just drive down to the rim, and nobody could stop him. The only one that could stop him was himself when he dribbled it off his foot, which happened too many times, but you got 42 points, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I don't know how you're still doing that in your 9th year of the league. It's kind of crazy. But like I said, if he didn't dribble it off his foot, he was scoring a basket, and that's what's important. But I mean, support came from everywhere. Derek White, 22 points, 5 assists. Simons, 12 points. Cada, 8 points, 6 rebounds. It felt like more rebounds, honestly. He was getting important rebounds. It was rebounds where it would go up, and you go, we just need to get that covered, and he would swoop in and grab it in either put back or whatever it may have been. There are a couple of alley-oops to him. Everything he does, he's such a big presence. It feels like it's a momentum changer. I mean, he's just a big lumbering guy, which is part of the problem because he gets too gassed halfway through the game. But Teoh was involved. I'm going to say it again just because I said it last week, and I think if it changes, we're in such a better position, but he just needs to get more rebounds. He needs to be averaging about 10. I think if he's getting like 25 minutes a game, he needs to be up near 10 rebounds. It would just make a whole hell of a lot of a difference for this team. But like I said, across the board, everything they were doing felt important to the game. And Knicks didn't give up. I mean, they were playing a scrappy, Bridges, 35 points, 3-pointers. And they all were just cutting leads. Every time that one went in, it was like we got up to 10 points, and then all of a sudden we were only up by 4 because you got 2 in. But the one thing I will say, Karl Anthony Towns, 29 points. So it's not like he did nothing. Karl Anthony Towns, you were a bitch. I hate the way you play basketball. I like Brunson. Didn't do much this game. I like MacLeod Bridges. I like Josh Hart. He's a good player. I hate Karl Anthony Towns. He is the most annoying player in NBA because of the way he plays for a guy that's shaped like that. You are shaped like Teoh and even more athletic and better conditioning. You have a wide open path to the basket. I'm not asking you to dunk it. Go down the path. You pull up for a 3. That is disgusting to see. That's everything that's wrong with the NBA right now. I understand Joe Mazzulla ball, right? Like, he's always saying there's a 3's more than a 2. Take a 3. You are a center, bro. Please act like it. You're soft. You are definitely soft. Every time you got hit, you were whining to the refs. And there were some that maybe should have gone your way, but you weren't getting any of them. And when you realize that, some refs will favor you, right? Some refs for an entire game will say, we're going to let these boys play. Others say, all right, we're going to keep it ticky-tacky. We're going to call you on everything. These refs were letting them play. Thankfully, obviously, everybody would rather that. But they're not doing it in the first 3 quarters. They're not going to do it in the fourth. Once you realize that, you got to realize that as a player, and you just got to start reciprocating. Whatever the Celtics are doing, you do the same thing. I'm not going to stand here and say, he can't do that. It's like, no, we're doing the same thing. This is how we can play basketball this game because of the subset of refs that are reffing this game. You are just soft, milky. I hate it. I hate the way you play basketball. It's so disheartening. It's everything people complain about NBA viewership these days. It's everybody's pulling up for a 3. And I always want to make the argument against those people. But my God, you were living up to it, and I hated it. And watching it in person made me sick to my stomach. You're soft. You're a bum. Just start playing like a real center, dude. I wish they had kept DiVincenzo. Oh, God. Who was the other player? I forget now. But Julius Randle. I think they would be a better team now. I don't care you got 29 points. You felt like you did nothing because you were soft. You had a lot of turnovers. You had more than Jaylen Brown, which is something you never want to have. Just terrible. Great game, from start to finish. It was our best game all year, I think. And I think that's that signifying win where you go, we kind of have an identity. The youth is stepping up because they finally have a chip on their shoulder. Jaylen Brown is the number 1. Derek White is coming to fruition. Peyton Pritchard didn't have a great game, but it wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't considerable. But like I said, Derek was filling in. That you have your lineup. You know who's coming out. And the bench is kind of getting an even split right now. I think everybody had even time, like between Simons and Walsh, and Shireman was out there considerably, and Teoh was out there. And they're out at the right moments, which goes back to me. People always want to diss Joe Mazzulla. I think Joe Mazzulla is a good coach. I don't know if he's the best coach. I wouldn't say, go that far. I don't even think the NBA really has an NBA coach really has that much of an effect on your players, but he's good enough to where I think he puts the right guys out at the right times. And that's all I can really ask of him. So you got away with this win. Your identity is do what you do, take 3s when they're open, starting to see more in the paint, but you do not turn over the basketball. You really don't. Outside of Jaylen Brown, your best player, you guys do not give out easy turnovers, which is great. I mean, playing really clean basketball, making the shots that matter, that's an identity, and being tough on defense. Nothing's an easy shot for the other team, and that's something you can stick with the entire season. And I think that win really exemplified it. We're looking good. You have a tight win against Cleveland. New York's up there as one of the best teams in the East. You beat them handedly. It wasn't a blowout, but you were the winners of this game. And then you get the Washington Wizards on Thursday. And Washington is, I think, the worst team in the league. I hate New Orleans. I think they're a bum franchise. Washington I think like they have something. I don't know what it is. I think Washington's a good city for sports. Um, I wish the Wizards were better. There's something about their colors, red, white, and blue, and nobody's ever in the stands in Washington. It's always sad to watch, and God, there's just no way to root for on that team. They've gotten kind of killed in the draft process in the way these ping pongs fall. But yeah, Washington, you're a tough team to watch, and it was never a doubt that we were going to lose that team. If we lost to Washington and we beat the other three teams, I'd be crying right now. Crying like that. I don't care about that. They're that bad of a team. They are crummy. But I'm not gonna hate on them too much. That's unfair to those guys. You know, they get beat up enough. They don't need me, some schlep, talking shit about them. But we beat them handedly. And like I said, you're 3-0 on the week. A lot of younger guy minutes in this game, which was good to see. Jaylen Brown didn't play, so you had a lot of these guys stepping up. And you know what? I didn't even mention. So I'll backtrack a little bit because he played well this game too. Jordan Walsh in the New York Knicks game was such a shutdown guy in that fourth quarter. I mean, nobody was getting anything easy on him. He was cleaning the boards. And, you know, the way he plays, you would think he's bigger. He's only 6'6", which is not super tall in that league. But, man, does he have hops. He goes up and gets that ball. It doesn't matter who's near him. He's tough. He's physical. Love to see it. Minot was the same way, but Walsh, they're putting him as the main defender on some of these guys when they're out there. I mean, Brunson, who'd we play? I think he was on Mitchell for a little bit. He was on Mobley for a good part of the Cleveland game. And these guys aren't getting easy baskets on him. He's shutting them down. He was starting for the New York game. He was in the starting lineup. I think he's earning that spot. He doesn't score a lot, but he is kind of the engine on the defensive side and the rebounding. So I would say leave him out there if he really ignites that for the team. Played good against Washington. We handled Washington. Not going to get too deep into that. You know, they're not going to play us well, or anybody for that matter. And then you have a back-to-back, right? So you've played Cleveland, win. New York on Tuesday, win. Washington on Thursday, win. You're 3-0. The Los Angeles Lakers come to town. And I had this one marked on the calendar because anytime LA plays Boston, it's a storyline. Or it should be at the very least. Played a back-to-back. Played in Washington, then played in Boston. And Luka and LeBron don't play in the game. That is pitiful from the NBA, from the Lakers, and from those two individuals themselves. And the excuses people are using are Los Angeles had a back-to-back, so they're not going to play. I can't argue too much against that because Jaylen didn't play Thursday night. But they saw on the schedule a back-to-back, right? You saw Thursday, Friday. Your best players on the team, at the very least for Luka. I don't give a shit about LeBron. I think LeBron's done. I think he's dust. I think he needs to go off into the sunset. I think he's done this year. Luka, you are the star of this franchise. You are the star of the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but you are. For you to not show up to play this Boston team, and LeBron, you know how important it is, and you're just like, yeah, we're not going to play him. You're scared. You're scared of playing us. And I hate saying that because that's such an annoying hometown fan thing to say, but how else do you take that? Oh, we're going to play a back-to-back, but instead of the team we play on Thursday, we're going to not play our biggest rival. And I have to look up who they played because I honestly forget, but they played the Raptors. Close win against the Raptors, 120-120. You would play the Toronto Raptors in Toronto, not Los Angeles, by the way. I would get it. Maybe you're going from LA to Boston. No, you're playing in Toronto, and you don't play the Boston Celtics. LeBron, you should be ashamed. I know you're not because you're full of shit all the time, always. Luka, you should be ashamed. You're not because you're a lazy Slovenian bum. You guys don't get it. This is the part of the problem with the NBA right now. Big stars got to play in the big matchups. You have to. If you have to take the night off, I get it. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not a pro athlete. I'm not going to say, you don't deserve a break. I get that. You don't sit for the Toronto game or for the Boston game. You sit for the Toronto game. That is such a simple choice as well. Like, it's not like LA and like you're playing the Sixers maybe, and then you're playing Boston. And honestly, like the teams are evenly matched right now and Boston's on always there, but you're playing in Boston. So no, It's Toronto, and I like Toronto, but it's Toronto, and you're playing them, and you're not going to play against the Celtics. How are you not ashamed? How are you not like, and I know they're not, I know they don't care at all, but man, how do we not take that as you're scared? That is such a terrible look for the franchise and for you two as individuals. It is a terrible look. Terrible look. I can't believe it. I really can't. And when I saw them not, show up on that injury report knowing they're not going to play, and I'm like, wow, we're going 3-0. And my first thought was, if we lose this game, terrible look by us, because then it warrants those two guys sitting out, saying that, well, we don't even need to play. The team's going to take care of them. No, we didn't. Maybe the best compliment of the week was we didn't sit anybody. We played our full squad on a back-to-back, and we whooped the Lakers, as we should. Reeves couldn't do anything against us. Everybody played well. It was the cherry on top of a delicious cake of a week. The Boston Celtics are back. I don't know if you heard me say it, but it's a goddamn winter wonderland. The Boston Celtics are back. It is a great week for everybody, for our identity, for the team, for Joe Mazzulla, and for the fans. It was a great week. And I hope you guys are watching this team. I know it must be annoying because if you're listening to this and not watching, first of all, shout out you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the views. But it is exciting basketball again. These are all great games. I love the way the team is playing right now, and I hope they can continue it. I think they are on right now because I am filming this on Sunday, and I believe they are playing at the moment. Let me look that up. Oh, they're playing Toronto. Look at that. Oh, playing Toronto Raptors, who are 15-9, and you are 14-9. And the standings, because of this week, have shifted a little bit. I might mention, if you win this game against Toronto, you are the 3rd seed in the NBA. You go from being I forget if it was 7, 8, 9, one of those, play-in team to the 3rd seed in 1 week. That's how close the East is right now. You beat Toronto, you cement yourselves as being the 3rd seed. Behind Knicks, which are a good team, and behind the Pistons, who you just beat. Great job. Winter Wonderland. Happy holidays. It's a happy holiday for sure. So, what is the big picture right now? Proven identity. The league's going to shit because LeBron won't play. Jalen is getting a heavy load at the moment. And kind of my only concern right now is his usage. I think it was 3rd in the NBA by the time the Lakers game came around. Can he sustain it, is my question. I think he can. I think he's taking it personal to keep up with the standard he is setting for himself, that the media has set for him. If we're going to have any traction at all towards the playoffs, he's going to have to keep up with it, which is a hard ask. Or some of these bench guys have to even build up a little more. I think Walsh, if he gets a shot at all, I don't need him to score a lot, but if he's starting to average maybe 10 over, and he's playing as strong defensively as he is now, he'll be a force. Pritchard's Pritchard, Derek is Derek. I'm not afraid to say I still think I want you to go get somebody, a big guy, towards the trade deadline. I think Sabonis would be perfect for this team. And I think I'm going to say it every week in and out. I just think he would. I don't know what you have to give up for him. Again, the way I look at it, it's not the best look because they're all playing well, but the better these guys play, these younger guys, the better they become trade assets. At the beginning of the season, I would have told you, I don't even think you can trade any of these guys. They're kind of bums. You got to trade 3 of them. If they're playing really well, you can look and say, they're playing really well right now while they're getting minutes. Maybe we should trade a couple of them. Because Tatum, whenever he comes back, Tatum's going to come back, and these guys are they're going to lose minutes. Tatum plays 30 minutes a game, whatever it is. He has considerable usage normally. And then Brown obviously does as well. So maybe these younger guys can play themselves into becoming great trade assets, which is kind of a bad thing. But I really do think we need a big for the future. I don't think a team of Jason Tatum as your big guy on the lineup is, going to work in your favor. I think you can play small ball, but I just think it would be a lot nicer to have a lineup with a big. And it doesn't have to be Sabonis because obviously he's top of the league, but there's guys out there you can go and get. But that's kind of my review on the games this week. And because of how you played, you have an easy schedule in front of you at them. You had 5 really in a week. You had Minnesota on Saturday, back-to-back with Cleveland. Then you had the Knicks, then Washington, Lakers back-to-back. That's a tough schedule. That's really hard to play with a lot of travel. It wasn't like they were all home games. You traveled a good amount. You got around a little bit. That's hard, and you guys showed up, and a round of applause for you. I mean, you're trying to give me a Merry Christmas, that's for sure. But that's where we are. That's what we're looking at. You got the Raptors today, and you have the I think it's the Bucks. Let me Google search this real quick. Yeah, so Raptors today, which you're up 18-9 in the first right now, and you got the Bucks on Thursday, and that's your week. And that's your week. So take some time to, I don't know, take a break, don't lose steam, but kind of recollect yourselves, because that's got to be tough to play through that kind of tight schedule in 1 week. But that's kind of an interesting transition. I think there's two things outside of the Celtics I want to talk about this week. And we'll start off with, in relation to the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Giannis has not officially, but basically requested a trade from the Bucks. I believe he's in the final year of his contract. The way I look at it, and this is just my opinion on the situation, if you guys didn't hear it, it kind of got phased into the media in a very awkward and weird way. Couple of highlights. Basically, the talking point was, excuse me. The talking point was, Giannis has started conversations with the Bucks on talking about whether he's going to leave or stay, which is such a weird way to, like, if they were talking about staying or a contract extension, you would just say that. It was a very weird amalgamation of words to support a claim. I think almost in a way to confuse the audience. I really do think he's gone. Most people think he might get traded before the deadline, which I think is crazy. I think not for his part. I'm not going to say he's crazy. I just think from the Bucks perspective, I don't know if you want to trade him, but I get if you would, because if he just leaves in free agency, you get nothing out of it. So yeah, they're probably going to trade him before the deadline. If they really don't feel as they can re-sign him, which I don't think they will. And the big reason because of that is they have not put a team around him that can compete for the playoffs. He has been a top 3 player the past couple of years, whether he was in the MVP conversation or not. Because a lot of the MVP conversation is who's around you as well. Embiid was probably the last guy where he was the sole contributor on a team that's getting MVP. SGA is on a very stacked team. Not saying he didn't deserve the MVP. I think he did. But he's got J-Dub around him. He's got Chet Holmgren. Like, that's not a bad team. They won the championship for a reason. They got 3 really good players. And it helps his MVP case when he has somebody he can pass to and the shot's going to go in. Giannis has kind of been a sole contributor on the Bucks. They traded for Kuzma. I don't like Kuzma. I think he's a bad player. They signed Miles Turner. I don't know why Miles Turner left Indiana. I mean, they're a terrible team this year because of no Halliburton, but he went to a team that's kind of blowing up on itself right now. They've got the guys they've always got. I think the Bucks did a disservice to Giannis these last 3 years and not putting at least one other guy on their team. They tried with Lillard and it never worked out. And I remember when that trade happened, people were convinced it was going to be a match made in heaven, and it just never worked. And so whether that was like we can sit here and say, they tried, it was a risk, right, but it never worked out. So the way they're going to look at it is they never could get a team around him that could vie for a championship again after 2021. In 2021, Giannis was still kind of the main factor of that team. They had a lot of guys around him. Middleton was playing great. Holiday was playing great. There were guys on that team that got that championship for them. It wasn't just Giannis, but they've never got back to that level. We dealt with them a couple of years from 21 to 24 and took care of them. The Pacers took care of them the last 2 years in the first round. So in the end, it's going to be looked at that the Bucks did a disservice to Giannis and can never get a team around him again. Which is why they're going to, I think they're going to trade him. I think it's crazy it's gotten to this point, but I think they're going to trade him because I don't think Giannis is happy. And you know what? A shout out to Giannis because he's in a very bad situation. He's the star player. They haven't got a team around him, and he's voiced his displeasure, but he hasn't made it a mess. Jimmy Butler, on his way out of Miami, made it a mess that Miami wasn't putting a team, around him that could really compete. Jimmy Butler is maybe a third of the player Giannis is. He is a humble guy. I always liked Giannis, and I think it could have gone worse for. It almost is, in a way, made it worse for Giannis, because if he voiced his displeasure more, maybe people would have said the Bucks got to do something. But I think he is really like a nice guy, genuine, and it never got to that point. So, which is why you get weird news reports like this, where it's like I think he's obviously requested a trade or let them know and said, I'm out of here in free agency, but nobody really knows because he hasn't been as vocal about it. So respect to him for that. It's very anti NBA the way it mostly goes around here. So Giannis is leaving. So who could possibly trade for him is kind of the big question, right? So I've seen trades with the Spurs. I've seen trades with the Lakers. I've seen Miami. The big question is who's going to have enough to trade for him? I think the Bucks should just take their best offer. I know he won you a chip. I know it would be nice to send him to a team that he kind of could have a future with because it's half a year left on that contract. He can play out like Kawhi did and then just not resign and go to another team, which he very well just might. But I don't think really that's the Bucks' effort to put through to say, we'll find a team with a good offer that you'll have a chance of resigning with. Just take the best offer you get. It's only half a year. And then he can go do what he wants to do. He's a great player, still a great player with a lot of great years left. Take what you can get, good assets, good picks, good value for who he is, and then figure it out from there. You're going to have to reset losing a guy like that, and it's not worth it to kind of help him out. It's cute when, like the Blazers sent him to the Bucks because he wanted to go there or whatever it may be. Like you don't need to play that game. He's done it. He won you a championship. Very cool. But when it's December. You only got 5 months of playing with the team you don't want to play with. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to ruin his career. So get the best assets. So who that may be, I honestly don't know. I don't know who's got assets to send them, who's close enough. Like, I don't think Miami getting Giannis is going to make a difference. I don't know who San Antonio would give up, but man, if you put Giannis and Wemby together, that's gross. That might be too gross for the league. They might have to reject that offer. But anyway, it's going to happen. I think the deadline is near the All-Star break, so around February. We'll see where it goes. The storylines might pick up from here, but that's really all I know so far. I want to hear from you. Where do you think Giannis should go, huh? What about you guys? All 25 of you now. The viewership has gone up. I don't know if it's the TikTok videos or what it may be, but shout out to the viewers. I'm going to take a moment here to say shout out to you guys. My Spotify creators Wrapped 2025 was sick. Some of you may be bots because country codes was number 1 was United States, right? Number 2 was Canada. Number 3 was Malaysia. Who are you? Who are you in Malaysia watching me? There must be one person in each. It didn't give me a number. It just gave me the rankings. Yes, but that one person in Malaysia, I am the number 1 Boston Celtics podcaster. I am your number 1 outlet for information. Thank you for watching and appreciating. I think there was one in Norway or Netherlands maybe, and I forget the 5th country. Shame on me for that. There's 3 of you out there where I am the number 1 podcast for you. Appreciate you guys. Maybe you just don't watch anything else, but I'll take it as a win, man. I appreciate that. And the big number I saw was I'm in the top 25% of podcast. Now, when I hear that, my first thought is there's got to be a lot of junk out there, just terrible stuff. And I appreciate that your choice of junk is me. So shout out to the fans. Thank you to you guys. And let's get back on track with the basketball. So talked about Giannis, talked about the Celtics. The third storyline and the last thing I want to talk about today is Chris Paul and the Clippers. For those of you who don't know, the Clippers, who Chris Paul was a member of for majority of his career until he kind of was trekking around the league the last couple of years, but he announced his retirement, re-signed with the Clippers in the hope of living out kind of a fantasy, I think, of doing a retirement tour. The Clippers have cut ties with Chris Paul because he was not on speaking terms with the coaching staff, is what I've been told. So 2 things I hear from that. Chris Paul, you're kind of full of yourself. At the very least, you got to talk with your coaches. What are you doing? Just talking to the team and playing basketball? I know you're a good player, but you're not what you used to be. And also, the Clippers are a bad team. They're not playing well. So kind of weird on your part. But I also look at this, the Clippers did a disservice to him. They should have stepped in and said, listen, you got to stop acting like this. And whether you have to make that storyline in the league or, they push it through in their own ways through analysts and stuff and say, voice it to the world and hopefully it'll get back to them. They didn't even go through that process. They kind of just cut him for a guy that played for you for over 10 years and were on some of your better teams. I mean, him and Blake Griffin and DeAndre, when they were playing back in the early 20s, late 20s, yeah, early 2010s, they were great teams. And they was one of your, the lob era, some of your best stuff. To cut a guy like that, really with no warning, was weird. Just kind of weird for a team that sucks anyway. It's like, why are you cutting him? I get if he's not, you know, talking to your coaches, it's a problem, but you're a terrible team. Even if he's not doing that, just let him play. Just, you're last in the West. Just play out the season. You have nothing going for you. At the very least, you have a guy who was a star on your team for years. People will buy tickets just to see that. So weird from like a marketing standpoint, but just weird all around. I kind of feel bad for Chris Paul. He has been an icon in the league for years. Not the last couple of years, but for a while he was. I just always think he's a guy that's been full of himself, and he was better and more important than he really was. But nevertheless, still a good player. I loved him on the original era of the Clippers with him and Griffin. Like, they were good guys. He was always on like Disney shows and stuff. That he always did kids shows, so he was one of those guys the league pushed. It was good to see him play. I think he was trying a little too hard to get a farewell tour there. I mean, he announced his retirement in the offseason, and like 2 weeks ago, I remember it getting pushed out again saying Chris Paul announces his retirement. It's like, he already did that. I don't know why we're saying it again. It's just the fact nobody cared. Maybe he overstayed his welcome in the league. I mean, nobody's pointing at Chris Paul and saying, oh man, I'm going to miss him, which is tough. Like, I think the Suns, one, he maybe should have stayed on the Suns and ended it there. But also, two, I mean, re-signing with the Clippers this year might have been too much. I mean, even on the Spurs, nobody was really pointing it out. And he helped the Spurs team out a lot. I'll give him credit for that. He was a good educator. But, I just don't think it's gone in his favor these last few years. And I think it's kind of a disappointing end to a really good career. So I wish you, Chris Paul, luck. I hope it works out for you. Wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden you just sign with another team instead of retiring. Maybe the Boston Celtics. No, we don't need them, but that'd be funny. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, great week from the Boston Celtics. Great week in the NBA. Start watching. It's getting colder. It's snowing outside. You got nothing else to do. Start watching this team. You're missing out. I'm more positive now than I was 2 months ago. It is a good time for the holiday season to get going. Enjoy the green wonderland that is enjoy the green wonderland that is surrounding you. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you guys next week.